First off, got to give Notre Dame a lot of credit. I think they're a good team and got a lot of weapons. Got a great blend of experience and some talented young players. And Coach Shrewsbury does a really good job. I've seen that firsthand for years when he was in the Big Ten. So this is a really good win for us. Certainly, you don't when you go into the game, you don't want and desire maybe a clunkiness and almost like a old Big Ten rock fight where just there's some stuff's going in, some stuff's not, but you just got to find a way to string together some stops. And if you could string together a few scores too, then you find yourself on the right side. So this was great for us. I think this is now 2 games in a row where we've showed tremendous toughness and connection on the defensive side. We got to get back to playing with the pace and ball movement offensively. That's worked so well for us here in the early part of the season. But really proud of our team, really proud of how connected we were and how we stayed together and fought to get this game done.
In the first half, they were kind of killing you in the paint, obviously, and then that continued for the first few minutes of the second half as well. But then over the final 12 to 15 minutes, you guys did a really good job down there of limiting those points in the paint. What changed in that regard?
I think our gaps got better, and then we had a little bit better awareness with guys we could help off of. And so that was important. Going into this game, we knew we had to guard the three-point line well, but we talked about not getting in a situation where we were too extended to expose the paint. I thought early, especially, we were a little too hugged up. They run a ton of actions for their shooters, and we're making a lot of threes coming into this game. So we certainly wanted to limit some of their attempts. I thought we got a little too tight defensively to our men and weren't gapped up quite enough there in the first half. We obviously talked about that throughout the first half, but really got to draw it up at halftime and really, our guys came out and made a good adjustment. So that was important.
62% of your shots came from 3. Second half, 32% of your shots came from 3. Were you happy with the shot selection in the first half? Was there any direct hey, we need to maybe get a little closer here and lay off some of the threes, because there was a pretty substantial drop off in the second half there?
Yeah, again, we're always talking about shot quality. We don't necessarily go into a specific game saying we got to hit a target number of threes. But I think a lot of our threes in the first half, there wasn't a paint threat on a lot of them. And we want the paint to be threatened before we get a lot of our threes. Certainly, some of our guards got the creativity and freedom to, read some certain coverages and be aggressive, maybe behind ball screens when we twist them and things, and there might not be a paint threat on some of those. So paint threat threes, rotation threes, those are the ones we'll always take those. But we weren't playing through the paint well enough. When we finally started to score there in a stretch, a lot of it came from touching the paint. So that was the big focus for us. Maybe not necessarily the total number of threes, but how those threes were coming and us making sure we were playing through the paint.
How much of a priority was slowing down Burton and Shrewsbury? I think you kept those guys under 40% combined, especially in the first half. They got going a little in the second half, but they really struggled in the first half. Yeah,
it was really big. Burton's he's one of the best scorers in the country. He's proven to be able to score it at a high level. And we talked about that, we needed to make him inefficient. That was going to be critical. He was going to get his volume, but we had to make him inefficient. And Shrewsbury is such a threat from 3, and he creates a ton of gravity on the court because you got to be really mindful of where he is at all times. And they put him in some unique actions and things. And so we felt like, we certainly had to limit their volume. That exposed us a couple times too much in our gaps where we opened up drives for Muhammad and Harrelson. Both of those guys were, a little too efficient. But I do think in the second half we did a much better job of playing with a stronger chest, fighting. We didn't want to trap the whole game in the post because we didn't want to expose for threes. So we put some guys, in a tough spot at times. But I think our bigs really, especially in the second half, did a good job of helping plug gaps to where they could maybe help in the post while their man was lifted to provide some support so those shots weren't coming, within 4 to 6 feet of the rim. They were more like 8 to 10 feet.
Just wondering what you thought about that last offensive possession. Christoph said it wasn't necessarily drawn up for him, but obviously he was ready to go.
What is that you're wearing there?
This is actually, I don't know, actually.
Oh, I thought that might have been for like we had like a retro theme going today.
No,
Okay, all right.
It's not that cool.
No, it is cool. It is cool. So that last play, there's a kind of a lot to unpack there, right? Our Junie was a little delayed coming off that initial cut, and that messed up our timing just a little bit. But we felt like, he was going to be able to create some gravity himself, flying off of, what many call an elevator screen, flying between two screeners. And that would open up space for Bruce to drive. But Bruce, kind of pulled up and got that ball to Junie, and we got him with enough of an advantage that put, I think it was Shrewsbury on him, put him in a compromised closeout. And then he was able to almost draw two. They didn't really leave Bruce, if I remember correctly, very much, and that opened up the lane for Tilly to get a catch, and then he made a great physical finish. He was able to get the ball kind of with an angle and went left, and it was a tough finish. But, we were able to stir him a little bit to kind of create what we call domino effect. And then we kept the domino that time. We didn't do a good enough job of that throughout the course of the game, where we maybe had an advantage, a long closeout, and we held the ball just a little half second too long, or maybe we dribbled and it wasn't a threatening dribble. So that one, I thought Junie put pressure on him. He started to see a crowd, made a great read, and Tilly had an advantage, and he read it perfectly.
How pumped are you for Tilly having that moment, his fourth game as a Buckeye, and how key is it to win a game like this and to kind of ride that later on down the stretch?
Yeah, it's like I said, you certainly want to win and be in close games early on in the season because it helps prepare you for Big Ten. You don't ask for that going into the game, but the fact that we were able to win one of these early is important. And we got a lot of guys who have been through a lot of these, especially those of us who were together last year. So this is progress. It was important for us to win on our home court and find a way to get it done when we weren't clicking offensively like we're capable of. So that's the encouraging part. And for him personally, I think we ask him to do a lot, and we trust him at a high level. I trust him at a high level. And the best thing he did today, I thought, was he got a little frustrated, it felt like, in the first half, but he didn't let that take him out of his game. He stayed aggressive. He got to the free throw line. His passing's a gift for us. His driving, certainly, when we got shooting out there, it opens up lanes for him. So he's a really smart player. We use his versatility. It helps us a ton. And I was just really most excited he stuck with it, stayed aggressive throughout the course of the game.
There was a time in this game, it got to 11. Then right before the half, it gets to 8. You guys respond there in the final minute. It gets to 8 again in the second half. You guys respond. To see that response, there were times last year that didn't always come. How much can that build the confidence of this team? When you go back and look at the film, how much is that something you'll lean on? Yeah,
we talked about it. We were just in a similar situation, where offensively we weren't playing at our best, but our defense, gave our offense a chance to get going. And I think that really makes our team very dangerous. When our defense can continue to grow and we can continue to be connected and physical, and our offense will get going. And we've seen what it's capable of when we're really rolling. And we got a lot of different guys, who are capable of having big nights. And so there's going to be nights where we may have 5 or 6 guys in double figures. Tonight we had 2 with a couple others who were close. But our guys stuck together, and that's the most important thing. We have a very connected group who is bought in to what we're trying to be about and where we're trying to go. And so really proud of that connection and how it helped us, get a win.
Today was a really special day with Jerry Lucas getting to dot the I there on the court. He said yesterday that he texts you after every single game. What do you think those texts will be like tonight? A lot of celebrating, and then what is his memory here, his legacy here, seeing that 10 spotlighted up there, 11?
I think he said something about this being, really the greatest honor when we had the ceremony on Friday, and that really stood out to me because what a resume and list of accomplishments that man has. And when you think of Ohio State basketball and you think of some of the absolute legends that have come through this program, you know, his name is at the top of the list. So for us to be able to honor him, and, you know, from President Carter and Ross and Alan Stockmeister and the Peterson brothers and the Schottenstein family, the people who came together to make this weekend happen, just was not only great for our program, but it's the best part was to see the smile on his face multiple times of how much he was enjoying, because he deserved this and more. And like I said on Friday, you know, he is excellence. And when we talk to our guys about becoming, you know, future husbands and fathers and leaders and men, you know, what an example for them to look to, for a guy who does text the head coach after every game, no matter what time, and the consistency of excellence that he's had throughout his life is really something we all can learn from. So just so thankful we were able to celebrate him this weekend, and thankful we were able to get a victory today.
So the early indication is that Bruce is your number 1 scorer, Tilly's your number 2, and then number 3 is kind of by committee so far. Are you waiting for a third head of the monster to kind of present itself, or is the committee suitable?
Well, you know, I think Junie Mobley's not going to shoot, you know, at the field goal percentage rate that he's shooting like that. He's going to break through that, and it could happen, you know, in the next practice. So he's such a threat, and you know, you don't get stats for gravity you cause on the court either. I think that's something that goes, you know, unnoticed a lot is you know, maybe he didn't have the most points, but the amount of space he helps create for others when he's on the court is really important. So right now, you know, we're still as a team, I think, kind of figuring out a little bit of that. But I got high-level belief in him, Devin, Bruce, and Tilly, and on any given night, one of those guys can lead us in scoring. After that, we got to continue to develop, you know, some scoring punch. I think Amari took a step forward today. I thought he was good. We've seen what Brandon's capable of. He's had some big nights, and then guys just got to continue to grow. And some of that's part of early season basketball, figuring that out. But we don't have a you know, a two guy kind of 1-2 punch. I think we got a 4-man punch. And you know, those guys will continue, and it'll be any given night. It's hard to take away everything from us. I thought Notre Dame had a great game plan where they stunt the ball, and we didn't adjust well enough, and what we worked on didn't translate well enough. But that's part of, you know, early season, and we will continue to get better at that.
Christoph had the foul trouble. They cut back into that lead you built, and he came in. Blocked a couple shots, playing with 4 fouls, blocking shots. How important was he defensively down the stretch, let alone, obviously, he made the winning bucket? Yeah,
you know, I thought his defense was much better in the second half. And we've challenged, again, I said as we asked him to do a lot, and we've challenged him to continue to grow on the defensive side, and I thought he was much better in the second half. You know, for us, we're big. So we work a lot on technique at the rim. You know, don't bail guys out, make them finish over a strong chest, and you know, don't bail them out with fouls. Don't give them angles to the rim. And we put a lot of pressure on him, Yvonne, Brandon, and Amari to you know, help us when maybe the ball gets past that first line of the defense. And those guys have shown significant improvement. Still got a ways to go. Obviously, too many made 2-point field goals, but I think he did some really good things defensively, especially in the second half.
Devin played 32 minutes today, so assume he's totally healed up, feeling good, or how do you?
Well, I don't know if he's feeling good right now, but he was feeling good, you know, going into the game, and you know, I think he's done a great job to put himself in position, and you know, he continues to, like, I don't know if you saw, I asked him multiple times throughout the flow of the game, do you need one? Do you need one? And he. You know, I trust him. I trust him, and you know, he plays with a physicality. Like, we're more physical when he's on the floor, and I love that about him. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's sore, and you know, I'm sure he probably right now he's Ebro, I don't know what time it is, but when we finish up, I know he's already seen our trainer, you know, and he'll be in recovery mode the rest of the day.
You mentioned the physicality of this game. They seem to come out and really want to be that physical aggressor in this game. How do you feel like you guys responded throughout the game to that?
Yeah, it felt. I mean, this felt like a Big Ten game where both teams were, you know, had size and physicality on the court. You know, I think Tout is like he's a monster, you know, on the glass, and he never stops moving. I kind of told him in the line, I said, man, if I was, you know, 6'8", I think I would have tried to play like you. Like, I like how hard you play. But, you know, him, and then I think Muhammad Harrelson's physical, 14 off the bench. Like, they got some good physical guys, and I think their guards played with physicality on defense. So this was great for us because both teams were playing that way. And, again, I felt like we initiated a lot of that physicality, especially in the second half.
So just brought up Tout, and I mean, he's leading the ACC in rebounds per game right now. How do you think you guys did on the glass tonight, and then what do you guys have to improve on that?
Well, we held him below his offensive rebounding average by I think a lot. So that was big. You know, it's impressive when you watch on film and you really focus in on his impact on the game. You know, it's not only what he does on the offensive glass, it's what happens after he gets the ball, and he creates a lot of three-point opportunities for them. When he gets an offensive rebound, I believe he was leading them in assists heading into the game. So he's a really good player. You know, he's a really good player, and you watch him, he looks completely bought in, and you know, that's obviously really valuable. But man, does his motor runs hot. And I think Tilly, Yvonne, you know, Brandon, Amari, those guys did a good job, because I know he had 12 rebounds, but man, holding him to 2 offensive rebounds is pretty good.
Hear me. Ringing the victory bell yesterday at the football game, what was that like, and was it heavy? I was watching you do it. I don't know, it looked difficult, but also just how big of an honor was that to do on behalf of Jerry Lucas? Well,
I think that the greatest part, right, was being able to play a small part in honoring him. In the moment, you know, you're getting coached up there a little bit. I don't know if I can give like too many secrets away, but it was awesome. And you know, to be honest, being there with Aaron and Jared was really special too. Like those guys are like family to me, and I've known Aaron, you know, since I think he was in maybe elementary school. And then Jared and I have spent countless hours in the gym together, and just both of those guys represent our program at such a high level and are on that list of elite, you know, players as well. So for us to all be there together was really cool. To be able to represent Jerry was really special. Now, they tell you got to pull hard, all right? And they told 3 grown men to pull hard. So I think maybe we might have pulled, you know, maybe too hard, and then, like, I think Aaron almost fell after that initial pull, but it's a good thing that, you know, he's a great athlete, not just a doctor. You know, he can do it all. So he kept his balance, and then you got Sully kind of supporting us. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but it was what a moment. You know, something we'll never forget. And again, great for our program. You know, our program to be celebrated like it was this weekend was really special.
Talked about your guys coming out in the second half and making an adjustment the way you were with your paint defense, which was an issue certainly in the first half. Your team's ability to go over something at halftime and then have that actually translate to the game, because it did get more difficult for Notre Dame in the second half. Where do you think you are as a team, and what enables you to take that coaching, take those adjustments, and then translate that? Because that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, I think we got a smart group, and I think that connection really matters. You know, I wish you guys could be in our huddles sometimes, because – you know, I think part of your job as a head coach is you want to create some space for your leaders, you know, to have a voice and to hear the way Bruce was talking in timeouts. And quite honestly, it wasn't, you know, technical things. It was more just mentality, you know, keeping guys connected and confident. And I thought his leadership at timeouts in the second half was really valuable. But coming out of halftime, you know, we've been here before, you know, very recently, and we're built, you know, I think we're built to withstand adversity and fight through. That's what we talk about. It's what we work towards, you know, all off season. And our guys didn't waver. And I think, again, that the collective high basketball IQ of this team and the selflessness and the connection that they have allow us to be able to make adjustments and do them well. You know, we gotta adjust, you know, better earlier. I think we did that the last game. We had some moments of that in the first half this game, but yeah, I thought coming out of halftime, our guys did a good job.
On that last possession where Tilly got the layup, that you wanted to get the ball in Junie's hands and have him make a read, and he didn't have maybe the best decision-making game, and I know he struggled with some of that decision-making this season. In a moment like that, was that okay, I'm putting all my eggs in that basket, I'm trusting him? Was that they're guarding him a certain way, so it's going to free something up? Like, what's the level of comfort and decision-making, I guess, into putting the ball in his hands when he has struggled in some of those moments in a game like this?
Yeah, I have high level belief in him. You know, I think he's a hooper, I guess, is kind of the best way to describe it. You know, he doesn't really get rattled. I probably sometimes wish maybe he'd get a little bit more rattled, but it's kind of his superpower too, you know. So when he's got the ball in his hands, you know, I'm confident something good's going to happen, and he's going to. I just felt like he was a little rushed. I talked to him about that. I just, you know, think he needed to slow down a little bit when the ball hit his hands, and I felt like he did better in the second half with that. You know, people are going to try to limit his looks because he's such a gifted scorer. But what makes him special and what makes our offense, the potential of our offense to be special, is he's not just a scorer. He can read the game. And he made a great read. And so in the first time he's done that. He did it at Minnesota last year, and he did it, you know, throughout kind of the second half of the season last year. So high level belief. And, you know, I'm crazy, but if I see him, you know, missing a few shots in a row, I think the next one's going in too. Percentage would say. So, again, our guys got high level belief in each other, which I think helped that play develop the way it did. All right, guys, have a good rest of your Sunday.
You want the stats? Yeah. Hey, Tilly want the stats. Just like, no, I'm saying, like, if they has questions.
I've been chirped for letting all right. Christoph, in your first, I don't know, it's 4 games as a Buckeye here. You've already had nearly a 30-point game and now a game winner. Could you ever imagine this would be your career starting off here?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if I say no, it's wrong. Like, I worked for this, so I'm confident to say that, yeah, that's like what I worked for. So I'm really happy that it's now becoming true. So yeah, I don't know if I would have expected this, but I mean, now it happened.
What was the conversation in the final huddle there? What was the play call? Was that always it, to go through you?
No. It was different. It was for Junie, but he made the right read, I guess. And then, yeah, I just drove the ball, made a layup.
It was kind of a big layup. You were able to get to the line as this game went on. I think they were up 7 in the second half, and then you guys were able to chip away. You kept drawing fouls. Can you speak to maybe the physicality of this game and how you were able to use that to your advantage, get to the line, and get you guys points that way?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I had to I was not doing that in the first half enough. So I had to kind of adjust that in the halftime. I was telling myself to be physical, to finish through contact and not trying to get a foul, just focusing on my finishes, and then the fouls, they were just coming. But definitely, yeah, I felt like I was in a good spot, and then every time I caught a ball, I was just trying to read, be aggressive, because I knew that if I do my thing, that something good gonna happen.
Bruce, we talked a lot in the offseason about all the close games last year and how some of those left you guys a little bit short when it came to the tournament. Winning a game by 1 point like this, getting a bucket in the last 20 seconds, what did it take for you guys to have the right stuff to close out a game like this, to win the way that you did, and how different does that feel compared to maybe some of the games last year that came down to a possession you were on the wrong side?
Big-time players make big-time plays. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the coach can scheme something up. At the end of the day, us guys on the court and teammates got to make those things happen. I got the most ultimate trust for anybody to make that last shot that Tilly made. And I was fully confident on him taking that shot and getting the stop on the other end. But our defense lately been stepping up to the plate each and every time when we needed to stop. So that definitely helps for us and for our confidence as a team. They know that we can do it, handling adversity down half, just keep fighting, keep battling, because that's how the Big Ten is a little bit.
You were down, or you guys had like 5 or 6 point lead, and then they cut into it, and then you came back in because you had foul trouble, right? And
Yeah.
You get back in, block a couple shots. What was your mindset on that end of the floor coming back into the game?
I mean, I knew that I was, I had to be careful, but I was not trying to take myself out. Like if I had to help somewhere, I would have went, and if they would have caught a foul, then so it'd be. But I was just trying to be solid, maybe be everywhere a step earlier, just to maybe stop them before they took a shot or something like that. So I was just trying to do my job. I was not really trying to be careful or anything. I was just, because I knew, like, even if I would have fought out, like, we have good people on the bench.
Bruce, to just grind through a game like this, the score's in the 60s. I know you guys want to pace and score more than that, but to win a game in the 60s, playing that way, how good is this for this team's, I don't know, psyche and just belief and confidence and stuff forth?
It's definitely good, especially because sometimes the ball just not gonna bounce your way. And sometimes you just got grind games out, grind possessions out at the end of the day. But it definitely was a great win. Any win, it's a great win, especially against a good coach and great coaching staff they have and great players they have. It's a good dub.
24 points for you, Bruce, and the third time already in 4 games you've been at or above that number. But the shooting numbers have especially been impressive these first few games of the season for you. You entered this game with an 83.8% effective field goal percentage, 4 for 7 from 3, 8 of 15 from the field in this one. Not to just rattle off stats at you, I wanted to ask, what has been the key to elevating your efficiency early in this season?
My routine. I got a daily routine. Come around here like 9:30. Not too early though, so I like get my sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I can play the video game the night before a little bit. So I'll get my work in with Deeb and walk. Take a little break. Go to Whole Foods. Come back. Lift, practice. So that's my daily routine each and every day. I don't do nothing to change it. I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it like that because it's working. My dad always told me just keep having the same routine, keep believing in God each and every day. Great things gonna happen, and it's working. So. I'm online, so like that's at night.
A couple people have mentioned, the foul trouble. How did you stay locked in through that? Having to come out with the 4 fouls there for a few minutes and then refocusing to, eventually hit that game winner.
I think the biggest key was that the coaches kept talking to me. They kept telling me to stay ready, to not be too worried about that. Just stay in the moment. Don't think about what happened. Think about what's right now. So and it's not like I haven't been in that position before. I haven't a couple of times already. So I was just trying to tell myself, "You're good. Like, calm down. Like, just do what you do. Don't think about it too much. And if it happens, it happens."
The feeling of hitting a game winner in a tight game like this was a good crowd, big home game for the team. Just how cool is it in that moment to make a shot like that?
Very cool. Obviously, like, it was my first couple of games, and then like having a shot like that, I'm very happy. I'm happy for the team, happy for the fans that they came out, supported us the whole game, and then being able to finish the game like that, I think, yeah, it couldn't be much better. It was last year somewhere. I don't know. Yeah.
You're hitting that often.